Hi, happy Saturday. My name is Lori, in case you don't know. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about answered prayer. Have you ever felt like God's not listening? Have you ever felt like you've got this enormous weight on your shoulders and you're crying out to God and He's not hearing you? I know I've felt like that. I know that there's a period like that going on right now. But we got to understand first and foremost that God is sovereign, that God is holy, that God truly does love us. He truly loves us. He wants what's best for us. And sometimes He allows bad things to happen in order to let the good things in. So we have to trust Him. Bottom line, trust Him. Secondly, pray. Pray to Him. Tell Him, and you don't be afraid to tell Him that you doubt. In the Bible, I can't remember what verse it is, but I think it's in Mark. It's in one of the Gospels, and Jesus tells somebody that he must believe, and he says, "I believe. Help me with my unbelief." So, in other words, I want to believe you. I have some doubt. Help me with this doubt. God does answer our prayers. Sometimes it's not the answer we want, but He is going to answer our prayers. He tells us that He wants us to trust Him. He wants us to know that He is God. Be still and know that I am God, right? So we have to pray. We have to believe. The Bible tells us not to doubt, because if we're doubting, so if you're doubting, tell Him. Be honest with Him, because it says if you are praying on one hand and then doubting on the other, it says you're double-minded and don't expect your prayer to be answered. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. I mean, if my kids came to me and or if I walked in, say I came home one day unexpectedly, my kids are all sitting around and they're like, you know what? I know Mom says she loves us, but I don't know. I don't see any proof of that. All this bad stuff happened. She said she's going to feed us today, but do you really think she will? Should we go out and buy food ourselves? How would you feel if your kids were saying that? Of course you'd feel horrible. Not that God is a person like us, but I'm just trying to put it out there in a way that's understandable. So, you know what? Trust Him. Just trust Him. I know I'm going through some pretty tough stuff right now, and I have some friends that are going through some real struggles right now. There are two families I know right now that are homeless. One of them is living in a campground. Thank God they have a tent. And the other one, she's sleeping in her car unless I can help her with a place to stay. My place is too small. I have an office. I can't let her stay there, but I do, let her come in and shower and stuff. And I have been trying my best to get her hotel rooms. People that have never been in that situation sometimes have their own ideas about it. I'm sorry. Those people are wrong. Yes, are there some people that are homeless due to their own choices? Sure. And you know what? Maybe that's the case with these guys. It's not my business. What's my business is to do what the Father tells me to do. And what the Father tells me to do is help them. If God presents people in front of you with these kinds of issues, help them. Excuse me. I got to tell you that it bothers me when a professing Christian, now, the world is the world. They have their own way of thinking, as I did before I came to Christ. You may help people, you may be a really generous person, but the world doesn't understand God. But when somebody who claims to be of Christ, part of the family, turns to me and tells me to have her go to the town, excuse me, excuse me, I'm a life coach. And I put it out there on my Facebook page that I would give 20% off private sessions. I'm a life coach and I do different things. I don't always have to have the contract. So anyway, I do kind of like an intuitive counseling thing. So I put it out there 20% off, and I put it out there that the reason I'm doing 20% off is because I'm trying to raise this money to get this girl like a week straight in a hotel. She get 2 kids so that she can kind of put her thoughts together, go to work, earn some money, get a place to live. She needs a hand up, not a hand out. So I get these, different attitudes from people. One lady messaged me and said, she can go to the town. Obviously, we know that. She has gone to the town, and the town gave her a food voucher, which is, praise God, that's good. And they also told her she could go live in a shelter. Well, I'm sorry, but the shelters, at least around this area, are not safe. So, no, she's not going to go to a shelter. And you know what? I've been there. I've slept in a car with my kids. My son was in a shelter, I'm not sure how long. He almost lost his feet, okay? They're not safe. They're not good. They're not good for anybody. Granted, it's a place to sleep, but at least around here, they're not good, okay? And I think anybody that's been homeless can tell you that, right? So, okay, so, anyway, that's, just get that off my chest. What I was thinking is, seriously, what if those people that came to Jesus and asked for help, whatever it may be, you know, the blind man, the woman with the issue of blood, the centurion who had the son, you know, everybody that came upon Jesus. What do you think Jesus would say if the apostles said to him, let him go to Caesar? Don't bother Jesus. Let him go to Caesar. We're not going to help you. What do you think Jesus would say about that? I don't think he'd be real happy about that. Honest to God, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but the way that I know Jesus, you know, in the book of James, it says, true religion is this, that you help the orphaned and the widows and stay unstained by the world. What does that say to you? You know, and I know some people can't help, you know, but what's $5, $10? You spend that on your coffee, right? Or maybe you've got something else. You know, your time, your love, your support. You don't tell somebody, hey, just go to the town, leave me alone. Wrong. Sorry. I've also been told this week that I shouldn't do fundraisers to help people. That I should basically just take care of myself first. If my adult children need help, oh well, too bad. I'm struggling myself. What else? Oh, my mother died, and I should leave her remains because I couldn't afford to get her cremated. I don't have a lot according to this world. Okay? I don't have a lot. But you know what? What I have, the Lord puts on my heart to share. When my son calls me and says, we don't have food, or we need this or that, I don't give him a long song and dance about how he should be doing blah, blah, blah. You know what? And I'd never tell him to go to Caesar. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. But I believe that we should, if God puts somebody in front of us, we should help them. You know what? If they're wrong and they're continuing to live in sin and they're continuing to bring about their own issues, that's between them and God. Okay? Now, I would never advocate for somebody to be taken advantage of or walked on. I understand boundaries, but godly boundaries. Not boundaries because you might not have enough. See, we need to, there's the tithe, right? And I know some people don't believe in the tithe. This is not about that. You know, whatever. If that's your belief, that's your belief. But then there's also, you know, offerings. And then there's also almsgiving. You know, we got to help each other. Imagine if everyone that proclaimed Christ helped each other. Maybe you don't have money, maybe you have time, maybe you don't have time, maybe you have food, maybe, you know, maybe you're a good cook, maybe you've got a car, you can drive people around, whatever the case may be. Maybe somebody's grieving, you want to give them hope, you know. I dedicate my life to helping people because that's what I'm here to do. I do have to take money for it a lot of times. I mean, that's what I do. That's how I earn my living. But even with that, I give people deals all the time. I'm not one to turn people away. I have, in my whole career, which is over 25 years, I'm aging myself, but I've turned 2 people away in my life. And that's after, you know, over and over and over, them, you know, refusing to try to help themselves. And I know that, you know, God is God. God's going to lead us in the right direction. That's my hope, is that every person I encounter comes to believe and know the truth, you know? But anyway, back to the main subject. Does God answer prayers? Yes, he does. Keep praying. Pray together. Corporate prayer is important. The Bible says the fervent prayer of a righteous man is powerful, is amazingly powerful. Keep your eyes focused on Christ, okay? Always. Don't look at your problem. Don't remember when Peter was walking on water, when he saw Christ and he walked on water. As long as he looked at Christ, he was walking on water. The moment he looked away and thought, oh goodness, what am I doing? He fell, okay? Jesus picked him back up, just like he'll pick us back up. He knows we're going to fall. He knows that we're going to have doubt. He knows that we're going to mess up. But he's there. He's there to lift us up. We got to trust him. We got to believe in him. And part of believing in him and trusting in him is helping each other, knowing that he's going to have our back. Okay? Does that make sense to anybody? Am I wrong? Let me know. I'll talk to you later. Happy Saturday.